and welcome to the Adrienne Ross Show, a product of the BMG Network. So glad you're tuned in at thebmgnetwork.com, the BMG Network's YouTube channel, or a major podcast platform. It's time for another exemplary episode. So here we go. Hey, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And, it goes quickly, right? We're on to the next thing, aren't we? Christmas is right around the corner. Christmas. In fact, for some people, your home has already been Christmasified, meaning people have their trees up, people have decorations up, people are already all in for Christmas. And then there are others who we drag our feet, right? Well, I do think that you're not dragging your feet if you wait until Thanksgiving ends before you hang the wreath. I mean, sometimes I'm like, my goodness, it's barely one holiday before we're into another. So I don't think you're dragging your feet, but some of us do drag our feet even long after Thanksgiving. I grew up in a family, we always decorated for Christmas. The house was decorated outside with the lights and big old candles and all this stuff, and the Christmas tree in the house, and we decorated and we put all the ornaments, and we did the tinsel. God help us. I don't know what we were thinking. That stuff is from the devil. And we had the candy canes up, and it was a whole thing, growing up. But somehow along the way, that just I lost it. It just didn't stick with me. So for most of my adult life, I have not been a Christmas decorator kind of person. Just had, here and there I did. One year maybe threw up a tree, and another year threw up, who knows, an ornament or something on the wall. But I never really was all into the decorating thing, But in 2019, I went all in. I had just bought my house a few months before that, and I decided I want to celebrate. I want the house to look festive. I want a tree for my high ceiling here in my house upstairs, and I want to put another tree downstairs in the cat quarters and all that. And I did, and it was so much fun. I even had a little Christmas party, had some folks over, and we played games, and it was just so cool with the new house. And so I felt like doing it, even though I was going through some tough times even then with, family. And as I've talked about before, when you see relatives getting older and going through some challenges, it was a difficult time. But it was also a time where I was just committed to just enjoying this house God had blessed me with. And that was 2019. Then 2020 came. Oh my goodness, 2020. And with this whole coronavirus stuff and everything, I totally was like, I sure enough don't feel like doing any celebrating in terms of decorating and all that. Didn't want to do it. But that's what I want to talk about today, because I know that there are people still who don't feel like being festive for Christmas. I felt like that in 2020. I felt like that in 2021. Just last year, knowing that surgery, barring a miracle, was probably, right around the corner for me, didn't want to do it. And then now 2022, I'm feeling the same way, having had surgery a few months ago and just dealing with stuff from that. And, my body just going through all kinds of stuff, which of course impacts your emotions and all that. Really not feeling all in for it, right? But let me tell you what I had said in 2020. And I'm saying it again now, okay? I decorated in 2020, inside, some outside, precisely because I didn't want to. And I know that sounds odd, because I know people say, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Who are you answering to, right? But there's something in me. There was and there is something in me that says when I feel a bit overwhelmed with what's going on around me, it would be easy to succumb to that and just be like, I'm not doing this thing. I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it. But I remember in 2020, that something rising up in me and saying, because you don't want to, you will. I'm going to make myself do that which I don't want to do. Now, Christmas is about celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And those of us who know him and love him and honor him, we understand and appreciate that Christmas is not just about some lights that you're hanging, some wreath that you got on the door, some present that you have under some tree. We know that Christ is what Christmas is all about. And that's not just one day a year. That's every day. So we know that if we don't put nary a light, as Mama Mary would probably say, nary a light up, Jesus was still born. He is still Savior. He is still Lord, and we still have reason to rejoice. But there is something about getting in that spirit, the festive mood, the lights, the brightness, and all that. And so I made myself do it because I didn't want to do it, because I refused to give in to that cloud of darkness that was so heavy and so pervasive. And so I want to say to you, if you also are feeling that way, whatever it is you're going through, push past that if you can and do something that you don't want to do, because our surroundings do have a huge impact on how we feel. And a lot of times we don't have control over what we feel, over that emotion that comes because of life, right? But we can take authority by the things that we choose to do or not do in some cases. That tends to impact our own spirits. And so again, 2020 was a heavy one with this virus and this lockdowns and this quarantines and all this mess, right? And so that was when I said, I'm pushing myself. I am going to put these trees up. I am going to decorate as much as I can. I'm not this huge, not really, really good at it. I'm not really good at decorating the tree and all that other stuff. I'm not, even though, it always ends up being okay. Right. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. And so I did. And in 2021, I didn't feel much like it either. And again, that's precisely why I did it. And then this year, there's a certain little bit more of a desire to do it, even though I feel worse than I felt those 2 years physically. I am looking forward, I guess, to getting the ball rolling, not because I feel great, but again, because I refuse to allow what I feel, what I'm going through to make me just say, I'm not doing anything. And again, there's not, for anybody who says, I don't want to do that. No, we don't answer to anyone, right? But I encourage you to do it because it does it lifts our spirits, just the little things, just a little bit of brightness and light and stuff. And so I'm going forward again. Thanksgiving is over. I'll be feeling better in terms of this congestion and believing God that there's going to be a turnaround in terms of the other physical issues that I've been dealing with, because I know that Jesus is a healer. And so I'm looking forward to getting to the other side of this. But in the meantime, I'm going to do something with this here house. Something with this here house. Mama Mary would say, hinch, 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 up and hinch, 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 hinch. I don't know why she would say that, but she always did. And so I am saying to you that I want you to, and I'm doing this now because I want to say to you now that this is the time, right? Thanksgiving is behind us. This is the time now to turn our attention to the next holiday, right? And then we'll be on to the next and to the next and to the next. But I hope that we are enjoying the moment along the way as best we can. I hope that you're enjoying it wonderfully. Sometimes we look at social media. I did for Thanksgiving, and I'm watching people with their huge families and their huge celebrations. And it's interesting because I look back and I think back to when I was younger and how I thought that would be me, that I would have this family and we would, we would be doing some of the things I see other people doing on social media. We would be, playing games after we ate with a bunch of people, or just, just doing all kinds of fun stuff that I see people doing. But, you know what? My Thanksgiving was, I'm not feeling so well. And then gratefully having the joy of having my friend come and hang out with me. That was fun, right? But sometimes you look at somebody else and you look at their stories and you're like, man, that's kind of cool. And you can get down when you compare yourself to other people. That's not what we are to do. The Bible says that we are unwise to compare ourselves among ourselves, and we can apply that to a lot of areas of our lives, right? So instead of doing that and just being down and making these comparisons and, oh, I wish I had a big family like that, or I wish we got together and played games like that, oh, I wish I just didn't have a fever, stuff like that. You know what? This is where we are right now. Let's be thankful for what we do have. Let's be thankful for what we can celebrate. And Christmas is a reason to celebrate. So now as we transition to this season, figure out how you can add some joy to your life, even if your only reason is because I don't feel like it. That's a good reason. It sounds so odd, right? To do the opposite, because we're like, I'm grown. I do what I want to do. I ain't going to do what I don't want to do. But you know what? True strength and true grit has to do with your ability to do the thing you don't necessarily want to do. So much easier to succumb to the emotion of the time, the emotion of the moment. So much stronger. You have to be so much stronger to say, no, I'm persevering, I'm pushing. There is a reason to be thankful, and I'm going to embrace whatever I can grab a hold of so that there is peace, there is joy, because the decisions we make do have a lot to do with, what that peace that is available at all times, the joy that is available at all times, especially to those of us who know the reason for the season, which is Jesus Christ. So I'm just sharing my story with you in hopes that it will encourage you to also, even if you don't want to celebrate it, celebrate anyway. Even if you don't want to put up a tree and you're able, do that anyway. Maybe also reach out to someone else, because you know what? It's amazing how our joy is multiplied when we sow into someone else, when we are so focused on ourselves and what we don't want to do and what we wish was different, etc. We can kind of get into those mully grubs, as they say. But when you reach out and you're pouring into somebody else and you're helping someone else, it really does wonders for us. So, hey, maybe think about that light that you put outside your house, that maybe that's going to make somebody else smile, right? That meal that you're going to cook, maybe you're going to invite somebody else to eat it with you, or maybe you're going to send somebody else a plate, or even the Christmas tree that you put up, you're going to have the lights dim at night, and you'll walk by your living room where you have it, and you're going to smile because there's something about those lights that tend to light us up on the inside also. So if you don't want to do it, I'm encouraging you, do it anyway, and you will be glad you did. So a little odd maybe, but I'm telling you, I'm not speaking anything that I haven't done myself, that I haven't walked through myself, and that I don't know works. All right. So now's the time. Thanksgiving is over. Christmas is right around the corner. Believe it or not, it's the same time every year. We always say, that Christmas, it just snuck up on me this year. Well, it didn't really sneak up on you. It's the same time every year. So it's not sneaking up on nobody, right? But it's upon us. So get into it. Get into it if you got to go dragging yourself and kicking and screaming. Get into it. You'll be glad you did. All right. So I appreciate you listening to the Adrienne Ross Show, and I encourage you to go to thebmgnetwork.com and check out the other podcasts there. And we are informative, engaging, enlightening, and sometimes we try to be entertaining. We're just kind of gifted that way. It kind of just comes to us. But seriously, check it out. If you'd like to leave me a message, please do at adriennerosscom@gmail.com, adriennerosscom@gmail.com, and go to a podcast platform such as Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and a review. When I get those reviews, I like to read them on the show so everybody else can take a listen as well. All right. God bless you abundantly, and I will catch you on the next episode of The Adrienne Ross Show. The Adrienne Ross Show was produced and edited in the BMG studio. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod. Find more episodes of The Adrienne Ross Show at thebmgnetwork.com and major podcast platforms. Be sure to tune in regularly. You don't want to miss even one episode.